Okay, so we are live.
Okay.
So once we go live, I will say good evening to all our staff. And thank you very much for joining the staff meeting. We have with us Naren, CEO of Eco Marketing, and
Okay.
also Manoshi Gamage, HR manager for the group.
Can we just have her just post the questions and then we can go
Yeah,
to,
no problem. Yes, okay.
then we'll do the whole thing with her in it, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, so once.
Oh, I see hi in the rain. Okay, got it. I see the
Okay,
question.
got it. Okay, Manoshi can join in.
Yeah, so she could hang up and join back in.
Yes.
Go off live. We don't need to be live anymore, right?
Sorry?
Do we need to be live or can we go off live?
We can stop the broadcast if you want to.
I mean, or we can continue when she joins in, right? So we can.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we can see your questions, Manoshi. And even Naren can read your questions. You can join in again. You can join in with us again.
Yeah, I can IM her on Yahoo and say we can see the questions.
Hi Naren, I'm back.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're okay with the Q&A section, right? I think it's more
Yeah,
clear also.
yeah, I'm okay. So I guess we'll go through and now if everybody's going to put their names, I guess the questions will be at the bottom, is it? I guess I'll just scroll through and see.
Yes, we will actually
Yeah,
have
you
to
have to
scroll
see.
through and see the
Yeah.
questions.
And Manoshi, you're going to keep track of the questions just in case later on we need to get back to somebody or something, right? In case we don't get to.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I will.
Manoshi, what you can do is now when
What
everybody
we did
puts
today, right?
no, what you can do is when everybody puts in their name, you put the select button. You press the select button. Now, for instance, you can
Question.
select, yeah, question 1 or whatever. I mean, you can see the questions that you have given. The 3 questions you have given.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You press the select button, and then the question will come on to the top. Where the blue part is, the blue area.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it says done,
Okay.
right? Okay, you press the button done, and then the question goes off. So what you can do with the names is, Manoshi, once you jot down the names, you just keep on selecting them and just put them off the question area, so that
Wait.
Naren
1
can
minute.
have only the
Tilini,
question.
I'm not sure if I can only. I can't edit it. I mean, I can't select it as done, Tilini.
Okay, let me see. Okay.
I can only see the questions.
You can only see the question. You can't select it. There is no
I can't.
path.
There's no way to select it. No.
Select it. Okay,
I
and
can delete the question. That's it.
All right, fine. So then that part, I think only I can do it. So what I will do is I will whilst the two of you are having your conversation, I will try to take off the names from this section so that you will remain only with
But
the questions. Yes, I will jot down the names and
yeah,
take off the names from this section so that Naren will remain only with the questions.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, the question and answer session is in the last 30 minutes. So
Yes.
you and Naren will be speaking more in the first few sections than I am. So I will jot down the names and send you an IM so you can start hiding them.
All right. Okay. So now I just selected the first one. Can you see it now on your screen?
Yes, sample question. How long will this take?
It's still there, is it?
No, now it's gone.
Now it's
It's
gone,
gone now.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just selecting the second one, which says Hi Naren. Okay. So now is that gone as well? Can you
Yes,
see it
that's
on your
gone.
screen?
That's
Okay.
gone.
Right. So that means I can do it. So what will happen is Manoshi, you will jot down the names and then send
Yeah.
me an IM and I will take the names off from here so that Naren will remain only with the questions.
Right. Okay. Okay, Tilly.
Okay. Okay. So fine. Okay. So now that we are at the broadcast,
Yeah.
what I will say is, Naren, uh,
I'm wondering, should we go through and take all these points, or should we just, I don't know, what do you think? I'll just run through it, like, run
Let's
through.
tweak the points, Naren, because I think
okay,
Tilly also needs a little insight on some of these things because she is also pretty new to Equa, right? So
Yeah.
if you can just explain to her about some things so that she can ask the appropriate questions.
Sure.
yes, okay,
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to wing it, meaning it's my first time, so it might not be perfect, but let's see. Okay.
okay. So
Don't ask me tough questions, Naren, because I mean you are putting me on the spot then too.
okay, okay.
Because
So
I'm not
what I
prepared
will
at all.
Okay, so what I will open up with is, of course, I'll open up with a good evening and then welcome all staff members for the staff meeting. And I will also tell we have with us Naren, CEO of Eco Marketing,
So
and
why
Manoj.
don't we run through it? Just let's pretend, and any feedback, I'm sure we'll note it down and share with each other, right? Let's just
Yeah.
pretend like we are going to do the real thing, and let's just run through it.
Okay. Good evening to all staff members. Welcome to our staff meeting. We have with us Naren, CEO of Eco Marketing, and Manoshi Gamage, HR Manager for the group. Welcome, Naren and Manoshi. And
Hello, Tilly.
Naren, hello, Manoshi, hello, Naren.
Hi, Teleni. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk to our team and hosting this event.
Yes, Naren, could you talk to us a little bit about yourself? And because I know most of our staff members have not actually met you, so could you please talk a little bit more about yourself and then how you really uh, got into going with this company?
Yes, thank you, Manoshi. Thank you, Teleni. My name is Naren Arulraja, and I'm from Sri Lanka. I was born in Colombo. I studied at Royal. I was in Sri Lanka till I was 18. In 93, I ended up moving to the US for my education. I studied in the US for a while and studied computer science, and quickly realized I'm not a good programmer because I don't have a lot of patience. But I felt, even though I always wanted to kind of be an entrepreneur, I was very, very afraid. So I felt, there's some noise coming in the background. So I guess who's not speaking, maybe if you guys can mute, that might be a good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
I felt, I need to learn. So I ended up working for different companies, and I quickly moved up the ranks. By the time I was 24, I was, at a direct level, at some companies. And I realized once I got into that middle management layer, I kept getting fired. I got fired 4 times in a row. And I think it really came down to the fact that I really didn't like to do things the way they're supposed to be done. If I felt there's a better way, I always would speak up. And once you get into middle management, at least in the States, you need to play the politics, you need to play the game, and I just was really, really bad at it. So after I get fired for the fourth time, by that time I had moved to Canada, and we had our first daughter. This is back in 2001. I said enough is enough, because I can't get fired for the fifth time straight, and I just can't do it. I mean, on a personal level. So I was forced to do something on my own. So I ended up buying a small business called Kinder Science and growing it, and then buying a business called Busy Moms. So let me kind of take a minute to quickly show you Busy Moms. 1 second. Hopefully you can see my screen. So Busy Moms, something that we got in 2005. Back then, it had around 1,000 visitors, and it was a kind of more of a chat room, where people could go and ask questions and learn about working from home and so forth. Another thing that always bugged me is that I kind of felt I hated traveling, but in my previous job I had to travel a lot and I had to be away from home, and once my daughter was born, I just didn't want to do that. So one of the things I became very interested in is the idea of working from home. So between 2001 and 2005, I dabbled in different businesses, made a lot of mistakes. So Busy Moms was our first try at working from home, and my theory is that people should be able to do what they love, work from wherever they are. It doesn't matter whether you are in Colombo or Pakistan or somewhere else in the world. You should be able to just do what you love and work from home, and get paid well for what you do, and not have to play politics, and not have to get up in the morning and go to an office, not have to travel like I was traveling. But everybody said that just can't be done, and they said the only thing you can do from home is like transcriptions and stuff. Anything that is like a real business, you can't do it because you can't manage people and so forth. But I'm one of those people, I guess, when people say you can't do something, that kind of motivates me to kind of prove them wrong. So I said, what the hell, I'm going to try it and see what happens. In the early days, one of the first people I ended up working with was Susan Hudson. She's a lady out of the US. She used to be a volunteer at Busy Moms when I ended up getting involved, and she continued as a volunteer, working a lot, but not really getting paid at all or very little. And that's kind of how we got started. We used to sell career kits to help moms start businesses from home. And, so that's kind of the beginning of our journey. This is going back to 2004, 2005.
Oh, I see. Okay. Naren, if you now I know Busy Moms is is not the only thing we have. We have Aqua Marketing and then EMD as well. So if you could just give us a little bit more about Aqua Marketing and how you really got there, if it is possible.
Absolutely, that's a great question. So we were doing Busy Moms, and it was an advertising business, right? So we had a lot of content. People came to read the content either through search engine optimization or other means. And once they got there, we had a lot of eyeballs, and then we turned around and sold ads to people. There were two things that was going on. A lot of the people who wanted ads on Busy Moms were really selling scams. Meaning they would tell you, you pay so much money and you're going to get rich, and 90% of the people never achieve what they promised, or 99%. So that was really troubling us. And but unfortunately, those are the kind of companies that were gravitating towards Busy Moms. So we decided to make a pivot. We decided to launch other types of features. So we came up with Busy Moms cities. So there's a Busy Moms site in Chicago and pretty much 600 other cities. And our thought was that if we build this large platform, across the US and across the world, there might be advertisers. Let's say you are interested in, taxation or helping people do their taxes. You might want to sponsor, the tax section in Busy Moms across all the cities. So we were starting to work on that strategy, and we were starting to make some traction. There was a university called DeVry University. It's an online university that decided to be a sponsor. There were a few others. But all throughout this time, between 2005 and 2008, we were literally living hand to mouth, meaning, every month I kind of worried about how to make payroll, because we didn't know, if we will have income coming in next month. But somehow we stuck through, and we made it through. And at that time my wife was working, so I didn't really have to kind of make an income for the family, because she was kind of supporting me and I guess the kids and stuff. So I was just really trying, and trying to figure out how to make this work. So what happened is, at the end of 2008, the biggest recession in the US history, I guess, in the last 20-25 years hit. All of a sudden, within a matter of weeks or days, big banks collapsed. I mean, the biggest banks in the world collapsed, and the government had to come and bail out everybody. So, one day I was talking to, the vice president of marketing at a big bank in the US, and next week she's gone. The following week, the CEO's gone, and the week after that, the bank is gone. Meaning, it's just unbelievable. These are huge banks, with assets and employees in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. So it was just surreal. So I quickly realized this is going to be a really bad time for us, because everybody's going to cut back. People were so afraid of spending money. So advertising went from $25,000 or $30,000 a month to almost zero. So what was happening at that time was that in one of our cities, Chicago, I was trying to convince a dentist, Dr. Siegel, to advertise with us. And I told him, why don't you have a banner in our Chicago site, and it's only $199. It's a great deal. Why don't you try it, and it'll work for you, and so forth and so forth. And he's one of those people who ask a lot of questions, and he tried to understand what we do, and how exactly what's going on, and so forth. And then he said, why don't you help me do my marketing from myself, because that's what you seem to be good at, because you're able to drive a lot of these people, you're able to compete with people like Amazon.com. And that's really the beginning of Equa. So, one led to the other. We said, okay, we'll take you on. We quickly realized, yes, our technologies, our capabilities allowed him to dominate Chicago, and now we can do the same thing for other people. Also, some profound lessons I learned, and I'm going to get into this, next, which is, up until that point, we were kind of chasing goals. We were saying, here is our goal, here is our target, whether it's number of users or whether it's revenues or whatever it is, let's go achieve it. So we create a plan saying, here is the goal, we need to have X by this date. And assign it to somebody and say, go make it happen. You know what? 9 out of 10 times, none of the goals we set actually happened. And then I realized something fundamental, I think, which really kind of put us on a totally different track and, helped us become who we are today. I realized that the true secret of success is in helping others get what they want. So Dale Carnegie said it best. He said, the world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. In that world, the rare person who helps others get what they want has no competition. He said this, I think, almost 50, 60, 70 years ago, but it's true today as it was back then. So in a nutshell, what he was saying is, don't worry about your goals. Don't worry about your plans. Just focus on doing something useful for other people. If you do that and you are so focused on it, everything else will take care of itself. So instead of setting goals, we said we don't want to have any goals. Yes, we wanted to grow, we wanted to be better than we were, last month, last year, but we didn't set any specific goals saying we need to be by this point at this point. So we need to be here at this point. We just focused on, doing what we said we can do, which at that time was 100% SEO only, so helping people show up on the first page of Google, near the top. That's it, nothing else. And that's all we focused on. And we were able to do that. And the more we did that, the more other people found out about it. And slowly but surely, our business started growing.
Okay. So helping others, that is well and true, Naren, and I totally agree with you. So if you, now I know, Aqua Marketing and then Busy Mums and EMD, these are great companies and they are really growing. So I know you can't really grow a company like this without any values.
One second. Oh, yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. without any values, without a focus, without giving good service, and of course discipline, and discipline among yourself and also the staff. If you could elaborate on that a little for us.
Absolutely. So I'm going back to equa.com and I'm going to click on the philosophy page. At the heart of everything we do is two ideas, the idea of service and the idea of excellence. Service means, like we talked about, let's focus on helping our clients get what they want, right? Let's think about it day in and day out. Let's focus on that. And the idea of excellence is that we should never say we are good enough. We should never say we have arrived. We should continually try to evolve, continually try to improve, because I believe that the minute you stop improving, that's the minute you start dying, because we live in an extremely competitive world. Unlike the old days, everybody is connected. Somebody in China could compete with us, somebody in Russia could compete with us, literally the entire world could compete with us, and they do. And the space we picked, which is marketing, is one of those spaces where there was so much of competition. So we realized for us to be successful as a business, we need to make that commitment to improving and growing, which is what we talked about as excellence. And at that time, there were people who have been with us for 4 or 5 years, have been through all the mistakes we made and all the pains we went through. And I asked many of them, some of the senior people, if there are ideas that you think are core to who we are, core to what we do and how we do it as a business where everybody works from home, what are those ideas? What are those unchangeable principles that is core to us, not only tomorrow but even 100 years from now? So those became our values. There are 9 of them. It's on my screen right now. So I'm going to spend some time talking about it, and Manoshi, also maybe you can chime in. So maybe the way we can do this is I could talk about one value and then Manoshi can describe the next. So this way we kind of keep it a bit interactive. The first value is stick-to-itness. This is extremely important. If you look at Gandhi, for example, for 50 years he stuck with this idea that using nonviolence, which people thought was crazy, meaning don't attack your enemy, you can win independence to one of the largest nations in the country. And he stuck with that idea for 50 years. And people called him an idiot, people called him crazy, people called him a fool, they called him everything. But he fundamentally believed that the idea of, not hurting people, not killing people still can be a good way to, gain independence. Because he felt that at the end of the day, every human has a heart, and that heart eventually will listen to people's suffering and pain, and will automatically correct itself. And he was right. And obviously then you see people like Nelson Mandela following his footsteps, people like Martin Luther King in the US following in his footsteps. So, but when he did it, it was a pretty new idea, but he stuck with it for 50 years. So one of the key things I have learned over the years, and I think is core to who we are, is sticking with things. So we appreciate people who don't give up. I mean, obviously you have to be able to listen and learn and grow and evolve, because you don't want to be blind as to what's happening around the world, but you shouldn't change your fundamental beliefs. You shouldn't give up on the fundamental dream, because that, to me, is the most important thing that helped us get to where we are today. And we call it stick-to-itness. So Manoshi, the next value I believe is express desire to learn, improve, and grow as individuals and team contributors. Perhaps you can share your experience with the team and what you think about this.
Yes, Naren. Actually, my interpretation of this value is basically my ambition, right? My drive to achieve things better. Like not be in the same place every day, but really to, increase my knowledge so that, I could do better to the company as well. That is my interpretation of this. And when I started off at Equa, actually, I started in the client services team. And I was given the opportunity to get into HR by Naren, and it actually was a chance for me to express my desire to learn here. I was given the chance to improve and grow as an individual, and since I was given the chance, I took the risk. Right, I took the risk. I got the knowledge required to be successful in this area, and I took the risk, and I think I have grown as an individual myself. So this is something which Equa does to you. It gives you opportunities which you need to take, but even though the company gives you opportunities, you must always be open to learning new things. So this, I think, is one of the key values for me, Naren.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's really at the heart of everything, right? If you don't try, if you don't, take an opportunity to learn and grow as a person, nobody can help you. In other words, nobody can help somebody who doesn't help themselves, right? So, and I fundamentally believe that as well, because in my experience, that's why we are here today. We took chances, we learned new things. We didn't sit and say everything is great. The next value is a daily commitment to embrace and drive change. Um, I think the old days of a company surviving for 50 years doing the same old thing, let's say in Sri Lanka, if you were to think of, let's say, a newspaper, right, that has been there forever, right, let's say 100 years or 50 years, and they keep doing the same old thing, and when you go into their offices, things are still inefficient, and people have to stay in line, and all kinds of old ways of doing things. I think those days are gone. I think now new companies are coming up that are totally rethinking how things should be done. So as a business, as individuals, we have to embrace and love change and drive change, because if we don't, somebody else will change the world for us and we'll be dead. Example, BlackBerry, they were the king of the smartphone business for a long time, and all of a sudden this thing called an iPhone came up, and now they are half dead, and they are very, very small compared to what they used to be 5 years ago. But unfortunately, they didn't see it coming, and they didn't have the desire to change because they were fat and happy and everything was great. So I think this is really, really important. In your daily, day-to-day examples, you might be coming across things we do that, for you might sound really, really stupid. Don't do it. Speak up, talk to somebody, bring it up, send me an email, talk to HR, talk to your manager, anybody who would listen to you. Don't take no for an answer. Don't say, oh, this is how we have been doing things for the last 10 years, the last 3 years, and we should do it continuously. Always use your reason. Doesn't mean that every idea you think come up with is going to be great and will work, because as the devil is in the details, right? So it's not just whether it sounds good, but it's whether it can actually work, once you start implementing it. So don't get disheartened when ideas are not picked up, but speak up, because those are the people I look for. Those are the people I really like to, work with, because, personally, I think they are the ones who are going to take the company forward. Those people who are willing to, embrace and drive change. The next value is dedication to service, and we talked about it. That's at the core of our philosophy, service and excellence, service to our clients and service to our fellow team members. And I kind of touched on the idea of service to our clients, and service to our clients fundamentally is, why did they hire us? They hired us to grow their business, right? So everything we do should be around that. Everything that we do that doesn't help with helping them grow their business, we shouldn't do it. But if whatever we are doing is going to help them and we know it's helping them, we should do more of it, right? We should use the hours they have given us effectively to give them the most value when it comes to helping them grow their business with world-class organic internet marketing. Now, when it comes to service to fellow team members, I want Manoj to expand on it, but just a couple of quick points. In a work-at-home environment, we don't see each other. We don't, talk to each other every day, right? So we are all working from home. We are all disciplined to do what we need to do, but we have to, in many cases, work with each other. We have to learn from each other. So maybe, Manoshi, you can share some examples of how that might be happening or how that probably should happen.
Yes, actually, Naren, in my opinion, whether it is clients or whether your fellow team members or even other members in different teams, it's how you deal with them day to day that actually drives the business. for one thing, I mean, if we don't have cordial relationships with our staff and we, give them attitude, right? So they will work with an unpleasant sort of feeling. So they won't be happy or motivated to work in that team, and they probably wouldn't want to deal with you. So if you don't want to deal with a person, you try to avoid the person, and thereby avoiding the issue, it just, blows up out of proportion. Right. So since we are working from home, we don't meet as often as others do in other companies, right? So it's really important that we work with minimal ego, simply because the more ego we have, the less people are going to cooperate with us, in simple terms. That's my take on this, Naren.
I think you're absolutely right. One of the things that we really try, and this happens to any company as it gets bigger, is to leave politics and egos aside. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same brain, we all have the same 24 hours, and ideas can come from anyone. So, if the company is going to thrive, we need to encourage ideas, encourage people who take the risks, take the chances. So that's my advice to all of us, is that it's not about one person, it's about ideas and people. So we should treat people with respect, we should listen to ideas, we should grow as a group. The next value is willingness to do the right thing and speak the truth even when it is unpleasant. Some people call it brutal honesty, and I really think this is an important value, because a lot of times we know when something is not right. I mean, it's just obvious, right? We all have something called a conscience, and we all have called common sense. So a lot of times we know when we are doing something wrong, and sometimes we might do it without realizing we are doing something wrong. So if you see that, you should definitely speak up. I mean, to me, that's one of those things where you don't take the easy way out, because usually the easy way will always come back to bite you. And there's one movie that I really love. It's called Scent of a Woman by Al Pacino. He won an Oscar award for it. He does a speech there. So if you Google Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino speech, you will get it. And he talks about this idea. He says, in his life, he always knew the right path, but he never took it because it was too darn hard. But he said the people who are leaders, the people who shape the world, they always take the right path. They don't compromise, And so it's a beautiful speech. You should watch it. But I really think that's so important in today's world. Kind of hiding behind, other people, or hiding behind, oh, I'm afraid I might rock the boat, is a bad idea. Not only for you, but for the company, because if we don't speak up, if we are not honest with each other, and we don't call our own BS, we do more harm than good in the long run for everybody. So it's very important we speak up, and we, if what we are doing is not working, say so. If something we implemented is having negative consequences, speak up, right? Speak up. And nobody will ever be punished for speaking up, and that's really at the heart of this business. And I obviously believe in that, in the bottom of my heart. Nobody should ever be punished or ever be put down because they opened their mouth and said something. So come directly to me if you feel that you're afraid or whatever. I may not agree with you, I may not do what you tell me to do, but I will absolutely listen, and I will absolutely take that into consideration. And obviously, if it's a great idea, be the first one to jump and do it, because at the end of the day, nobody has a monopoly on ideas. So the next one, Manoshi, is respect and support for each other, being a strong partner in an interdependent environment.
Yeah. Shall I elaborate on that, Naren?
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to add one little thing in terms of the value you explained a little bit before. In my case, Naren, yes, we need to be painfully honest, but since we are dealing with people and feelings, I think it's important that we also be tactful when we are giving our honest feedback. because sometimes, I know it's good to speak up, that sometimes even though you're put in between a rock and a hard place, you will speak up. But I think tact is also really important, that we should keep that in mind when dealing with people. Just wanted to add that part to that value. I don't know if
Absolutely.
you agree with me.
See, Manoshi kind of disagreed with me. That's exactly what we want, right? We want people who speak up and they don't just take my idea or somebody else's idea and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this," right? So that's exactly the kind of spirit and purpose of this value. People who are willing to say what's on their minds. Because we all have brains and we all are smart. So that's great. And I kind of do agree with Manoshi. I'm one of those people. I'm very not tactful, so I have a weakness. I try to work on it, but so especially if I think what she's saying is, if the person you are talking to is the one who might take it the wrong way, you need to be tactful in the way you approach it and communicate it, because you don't want the situation to get worse, right? And so I mean, there's so much of lessons to be learned about how to deal with challenging facts or challenging truths. So thanks for sharing that. But the next value, Manoshi, what do you think?
Yeah, actually, Naren, I think it's all about being strong team players, because sometimes, even though we are working from home, we are not working individually. We obviously have to deal with each other, and we need the support of other people. So I think respect is key in this. Like, one thing, if you don't respect others, then others won't respect you either, right? So in like, you will lose support here, and you can't go places if you don't have the support of people. I'm not talking about politics, but I'm talking about, just being able to work with a lot of people, coordinate well with each other. So if you're a team player and you have good abilities to work well with others, then that's what we are actually looking for. And I also want to say that, if you think you're being disrespected by any of your team members or your manager or anyone, you can always come to HR. We keep things confidential. We want everybody to be treated equally in this company, and not only that, to be treated with respect. Right? So if anybody is having such issues, please come to me directly. I will help you with that.
Thank you, Manoshi, and I think that's an excellent point. I mean, you can't expect somebody to respect you if you don't respect them, right? It's a two-way street. You may not agree on everything, but at least you should respect each other, right? I mean, so I really, really agree with Manoshi on what she just elaborated. The next value is taking 100% ownership, caring about the why as well as the how of every task. Never settling to merely do. Always strive to accomplish a task better than the time before. This is an extremely important value, and the reason it's important is, unfortunately, when you're working from home, nobody can watch over your shoulders and see if you're doing a good job, see if you are doing your best you can. Only you can do that, right? So really take ownership of things. This again goes back to our other values of speaking up and thinking and changing and so forth. So always ask the question, is this the best way to do something? Is there a better way? If there is a better way, talk about it. If this is the best way, do it to the best of your abilities every single time. Don't say I'll do it well one time and not well the other time, because remember, at the end of everything we do, there's a client who's expecting a lot from us. So we need to make sure that we as individuals and teams take ownership for the results. That's what we talk about as in why. Why are we doing something? Let's say we are doing link building. We are doing it because we want the pages to rank. So if there are link building techniques that's not helping with that, it's hurting us, you know what, we shouldn't do that, right? So that's where the why comes in. And the how, again, devil is in the details. You could write an article that has 400 words and that people hate, or you could write an article that has 400 words and people love, right? So how you do something and how you understand our clients and what they want, these are all extremely important, when you are trying to take 100% ownership. So it's not a destination, it's more like a journey. I mean, I don't think all of us are going to be 100% every single day, but at least we should strive for that. At least we should do our best, learn and grow and listen and change and speak up as we take ownership. The next value, Manoj, maybe you could touch on is commitment to standard ways of doing things and continually improving the standards. I have a couple of thoughts. The reason we need standards is, we are not a mom and pop shop with 3 people, right? We have 150 people. We have 200 clients. So anytime you grow, you don't want one customer to get one experience and the next customer to get a different experience. Let's say you walk into a hair salon, and one day, they give you a massage and they give you a drink and they really, really pamper you and make you wish, oh my God, this is the best 2 hours I spent in a hair salon. And the next day you go, the person is grumpy and he's talking on the phone and not paying attention when he's cutting your hair, and forget about the massage and everything else. After a while you will get confused and you'll say, I don't want to go back because I came back because I thought I'm going to get this. Now I'm getting that, right? So it's extremely important for us, as we grow as a business, to understand the reason why every client should get a similar experience. Obviously things will be different. One person is a dermatologist, so an infographic we do for him will be different for something we do for a dentist. But once you realize something that we are doing is useful, we should make sure every client, like every dermatologist for example, gets the same high quality work from us. So Manoshi, anything you want to add on that?
Pretty much what you said, Naren, but also that not only related to our clients, but related to the day-to-day things we do, the routine things we do. Because as a company, we all have rules, regulations, policies, right? I mean, those are also standards which we need to follow. Because it's not because we don't trust our staff; it's because we have agreed to a certain commitment, the commitment that we are going to do things the way the company thinks it should be done. And of course it could, what the company thinks could be wrong, so that's your, actually it's your responsibility to speak up and tell us if you are doing something wrong. But then if you do agree with it, then I think you need to be committed and to even these routine things which you might think is not adding any value, but they do, because it makes us disciplined individuals, because we are working in a work from home environment. So I think that's also really important, that we should keep that in mind.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a struggle, right? Because home usually is a place where people relax and, play the fool. So work at home, unfortunately, means you're at home, but you are expected to, take it seriously, work 8 hours, really, really focus, have a room where you're not distracted, and do great work. So I totally agree with Manoshi. So you have to kind of have that discipline, and the policies and the rules are there to support that, right? Because if you don't have policies and rule, one person will do X and somebody else will do Y, and it's not fair for the person who's doing X, which might be, doing everything they're supposed to, and the other person who's not doing that, right? So it's really important, for everybody's sake, we all follow, the company policies and and the standards we have agreed to. So it's one of those things, like everything else, you have to have certain standards, and it's one of those standards, we absolutely need, given the kind of nature of the business we run. There's nobody to look over your shoulders, so it's really that policies and standards that keep us disciplined and keep us focused. So that's a great point, Manoshi. Last point is, last value is offering every Equa marketing staff member to do what they love. This is something, to be honest, I didn't learn upfront. I learned as time went along, is that when somebody is doing something they love, they tend to do great work. They tend to be happier. They tend to be a better father, better son, better parent. When they do something they hate, they tend to be miserable. And when you're miserable, you don't get great ideas. You don't get, great thoughts. You're not a great person to be around. So we all go through these phases. I go through this phase a lot. Like, I guess as an entrepreneur, I take a lot of big risks, and obviously, sometimes I feel like, why am I doing this? So I really think we all need to always ask ourselves, are we doing something we love? And one of the things we try to do as a company is have all kinds of different roles. For example, we will touch on the training center. You can go and see the different roles we have and how you can move into those roles and so forth. So we really try to make an effort to help people, do something they love. So one of the things I'm going to ask every one of you is ask yourself, are you happy doing what you're doing now? If you are not, talk to HR. We may not have a solution for you tomorrow, but we will really try to help you. That's a core of who we are as a company. We may not have an opening tomorrow, but at least, we will put you on the training path and have you get trained. And, once you pass the exam, when the opening comes up, take you in, because obviously we're going to give preference to people who are within the company more than people who are outside of the company, right? So it's really, really, really important, value. So don't be miserable. Don't do something you don't want to do, right? If you are miserable, talk to HR, right away. But then again, I know some people, regardless of what role you give them, they don't like it because it's hard work. So unfortunately, if you're one of those people, I don't know what HR or anybody else can do. But if you are willing to work hard and if you're willing to give it your best shot, but you're not happy with your current role, then definitely speak up.
I have something to add to this, Naren. Actually, what happens is sometimes we might be miserable, but we don't do anything about it. So if you're not willing to take the opportunity or do anything about it, then there's actually no point in, talking to us. But if you are actually serious and you want to make a change and you understand that this change, we can't give it to you as soon as you ask for a change, you'll probably have to be in a wait list, till a vacancy comes up in the position you like. So if that happens and you pass all the trainings in our training center, then we can definitely consider. We would love to have a happy set of staff. So we would do everything possible to make you happy in the company.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to Manoshi, and I'm also willing to listen. And if we don't have a current role, but maybe we can create one, I would be open to it. But like Manoshi said, you have to be really, really serious about wanting that change and committed to it. Because without that, whatever we do is not going to solve anything. Tilini,
Yes,
back to you.
yes. Thank you. Thank you, Naren, and thank you, Manoshi. Okay, so I know we have spoken about all the values and the focus was and how to focus on the company. If you could just explain to us now that Manoshi, you and Naren are speaking together, just explain to us as to where we are heading, or our future for Aqua, for EMD, and also for the new Doctors
Doctor's
Choice Award. Yes, Doctor's Choice Awards. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. In a nutshell, we won't be here today if we didn't take chances, right? I mean, we talked about the history and where we came from and how we kind of almost died and then came back alive, at the end of 2008. So I fundamentally believe for us to be, because my job is to make sure this company lasts for 50 years and, people really have a stable work at home job that they can count on. That's really my job, providing people that stability. That's the most important thing I need to worry about, because there are a lot of families who depend on us, right? So I know the best thing I can do in accomplishing that is to take risks, because if I don't take risks, if we don't take risks, and if we don't try to grow the business and expand our thoughts and expand our footprint, we are at the mercy of any challenge that comes along. And a lot of times the challenges are totally out of your control, like the recession that the US went through in 2008. So we as a company absolutely believe in growing and evolving. Fundamentally, if you think about our business is all about servicing doctors, right? So, and we provide a service which is comprehensive done for you marketing, where clients can expect results, expect their business to go up. That's really at the heart of Equa. Now we can grow Equa by going into other verticals like servicing lawyers and other types of professionals. We are kind of dabbling in law right now, so that's one way for us to grow. The second way for us to grow is to grow downstream, right? Meaning right now you can't be an Equa client unless you're willing to pay $1,000 a month. So perhaps there are things we can do at a much lower price point that still is servicing doctors, that still is in our comfort zone of really understanding marketing and really understanding the internet. So EMD, Entrepreneur.MD, was something we embarked on 15 months ago, and we started building this portal for doctors. And our thought was, it would become the destination for doctors. Like a think of it like a famous magazine in finance, like Wall Street Journal, that people rely on and depend on. And we thought we can make money through advertisers and other partners who want to reach doctors. To make a long story short, it's one of those experiments that didn't really go as planned, but we learned a ton, right? We learned so much about what not to do, and what mistakes we made and things like that. So at this time, from a team of 20-25, we are down to a team of 5 or 6. Nobody lost a job. We move people around in other roles. So again, it goes back to our value of taking risks and taking chances should not affect the people who took those risks. So Entrepreneur.MD, I still believe, can be great again, but right now we are kind of shrinking, because one of the lessons we learned is when you have too big of a team in a startup company, you tend to not learn what works and what doesn't work effectively. You tend to focus on keeping people busy and doing more and more when you haven't still figured out how to make the business work. So that's the reason we shrunk. And along the way, we really learned about how to build new companies. And my goal is to have a group of companies, including Aqua, that support each other. Because think of Disney, right? Disney has theme parks, studios that make movies. These movies have characters, right? Every movie has a character, and those characters support their merchandising business. So they sell, dolls and all kinds of stuff around their characters. Then they have theme parks where they use those characters to create rides and experiences for people. And as you know, Disney theme parks are, I think, visited by more than like 200 million people a year. It's massive, right? So these are supporting businesses that make the whole stronger. So the animation studios gives them characters, which then gives them, in addition to movie revenues, merchandising and theme park revenue. So animation pictures is the heart of everything they do, but really the business is built around a supporting system of related businesses. So that's really kind of the overall vision. Equa has gone through evolutions, right? So taking care of 5 customers is very different from taking care of 200 customers. So a lot of the evolution that has happened over the last 2 years, as far as Equa is concerned, is in operations. So how do we provide the same consistent high quality service when you have 100 staff in operations and 200 plus customers? How do you keep innovating and improving with that scale, right? And unlike other companies, we actually do the work. So it's not simple. It's not just we can't talk the talk. We actually have to walk the walk. We actually have to stay with it till clients see results. So I've seen a lot of improvements. I've seen a lot of people step up, a lot of people grow. Sales and marketing has been a challenge for us, and I take responsibility for it, because when we were small, it was hand-to-hand combat. I went to meetings and I leveraged some people who knew a lot of other people, and that's how we got a lot of clients. Now we are transitioning into more of a mature company's sales and marketing. So we have a team, and we focus on partnerships, and we focus on content, and we focus on relationships and so forth. So Susan is heading up a new area in sales and marketing called what we call customer onboarding, which includes sales, which includes marketing, which includes partnerships and relationships. So we want to think of the entire onboarding process holistically, and I've already see great signs of things really starting to come together and so forth. So I really expect a lot to happen in that front. Now, Doctor's Choice Awards, it's one of those experiments, I guess when you want to start a business, I'm sure you know the stats, they say that 95% of the businesses fail in the first 5 years. And in the tech space, it's probably like 99% or 98% fail. So you have to try a lot of things to figure out what's going to work. So Doctor's Choice Awards is one of those things we believe is starting to show signs it's working. It's only like 2 months old. So it's a very new product and a very new business. And the idea is very simple. There are so many review sites that are consumer driven, right? So just like you would review, a carpenter, the same site allows you to review a doctor. Unfortunately, doctors go to medical school and there are a lot of specialized training. So as consumers, we don't really know if a doctor is good or bad because, we didn't go to medical school. We didn't know if he paid attention to his classes. We didn't know, what kind of extra training he has. And even if we know the names of the training, we don't know if those are good trainings or bad training, right? So it's really hard for us as consumers to make a good judgment about doctors just by reading reviews from other consumers. For example, when my father was sick and he had amnesia, I didn't ask my cousin or I didn't ask my friend what they thought. I try to find out who are the doctors who I trust, and I asked them what they thought about who's the best doctor. Because it's like anything else, right? A great actor probably knows another great actor, right? Because that's the circle they mix in, and they understand what it takes to be a great actor and so forth. So same here. So Doctors' Choice Awards is doctors reviewing doctors, and it's one of those things that's really resonating with people. So in a span of 6 weeks, we went from the metric we focus on is how many new doctors are signing up and getting at least one review from a fellow doctor. So that metric went from 0 to 1 to 3 to 5 to 7 to now 12 a week. So we are really, really accelerating the rate at which we are growing. So I'm very optimistic, but at the same time, startups are tough. So we want to learn from the lessons over the last little while, and make sure we don't make the mistakes we made before. So we are keeping the team small. Sajita and Zulaifa are heading that team up, and we are really trying to learn from all of our mistakes and lessons and make it a success. And we will continue to come up with new ideas and innovate because we want to build a group of businesses, a group of products that are complementary in nature.
Okay, Naren and Manushi, I have heard about, moving on, of course, I have heard about the clubs and, of course, the sports activities that we have in the company, and I'm sure all staff would like to know something about it. If you can explain it further to us about it. Manushi? Okay, I am. Manushi? We lost her.
Oh, that's not good. She went offline, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, she's coming back.
All right, okay. Manushi, can you hear us? Manushi?
Hello, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry, Manushi.
Okay.
Yeah, let's be careful, right? I don't know. This is still embarrassing, but anyways, continue, please, Tilly.
Okay, so Manushi, now that Naren has finished explaining about the goals and where we are at the moment, could you? I have heard about the the clubs that we have and also the sports activities that we do. If you can explain further to the staff about it, so that they can everybody can really join in with you.
Yes, actually, the reason that we started these clubs was because, as we are working from home, we rarely meet our colleagues. So we thought, why not make working in Aqua fun, right? So clubs was one of the first initiatives we came up with. So currently we have like 5 book club, the community service club, and our food club. So basically there is a club which every one of us can join, because we are all either one or more of these things, right? So I would like it if everybody joined a club, because one thing, you meet new people, you speak to people apart from your colleagues, you get to know about them. Sometimes, it's I've noticed, because since I'm a member of all the 5 clubs, that I have built better relationships with other people, even work relationships. So because of that, I think clubs is a great idea, and even Naren, our CEO, is also a part of these clubs. So Naren, why don't you tell them about your experience about the clubs?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think great ideas come from different kind of people working together, right? So it's a great way for you to kind of open your minds, talk to other people in other departments, right? And if you're doing it in a friendly setting, because these clubs are not about work. It's about books, it's about movies, it's about travel, whatever you are passionate about. So you can come together, have some fun. Life should be fun, either online or in person, because a lot of these clubs, I think, have a Facebook group, so they post and they share and they do things. So you don't even have to be in the same city or town to participate in a club. And then, and then meet people. I really think it's a great idea, and I really think, based on the feedback we have had so far, I think 65% of the company already is in one, at least in one club. I really think it's great for all of us. I'm part of some clubs, and obviously I'm not physically present in Columbus, so I don't participate in the activities, but at least I can chime in on the books I like, or movies I watched, and also at the same time learn from other people what they thought about certain movies and what I should watch and so forth.
Yeah, and we have actually done a few events as well from these clubs. Like, the movie club, we regularly go out and watch movies. And not only the people in the movie club, we even invite the rest of the staff if they are willing to participate. Right? And the travel club, we went on a small trip in April or in May. I can't remember exactly the date, but we went on a small trip, and we had a New Year festival. So the book club last year, we actually went to an orphanage, and we had a nice time with the kids there. And the community service club is planning on hosting a blood donation campaign, right? Because currently we have a lot of health issues with dengue and everything going around. So we thought of doing a blood donation campaign. And the food club is going to do a food festival very soon. So we all the clubs are doing something where people, not only themselves but with their families, can enjoy. So I hope you all will join these events in the future, even if you are a club member or not.
Yes. Would you be able to send emails to our staff members with these clubs that you have, and informing them, giving them specifications as to who is really doing it and how we really join it? Manoshi, if you can
Yes, sure, Tilini, that can be done. Yeah, that can be done. What we do is, even if there's a new employee, we usually tell them about the clubs, and based on their interest, they let us know what they would like to join. Now, this is an HR initiative, but we all have committees in the clubs. So once we tell the one of the committee members that a person is interested, they will add them to the email groups and the Facebook groups and so on. Right. So anyway, we will be doing a club newsletter quarterly. Right, so there are the email addresses which the staff can contact. The clubs is also included in the newsletter, and we will send out an email too, and maybe post on Facebook, so that interested staff can join in.
That'll be great. Yes. Okay. So I think now, of course, if there are any questions, Naren or Manushi, you will have to take the questions. And after the questions, it is.
We still didn't touch on two things, right? Healthy eating,
Yeah.
the training,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
and
Yes.
exercise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Training, of course, Naren, I think we spoke a little bit about it earlier. So, do you have anything to add to that?
I'm just thinking, can we show them the place website, and just I don't know, just give them some kind of specifics?
Okay, Naren, then in that case, I will have to send you the links because you're sharing the screen, right? So I
Right.
will send you the links which you can show them at that point, and you can also say that, based on that value, training is really important, and then I will explain that there are a few trainings they can follow, and if they want lateral moves, that they need to complete these trainings, and if they want further details, they can talk to the HR team about it.
Right. Do you have the link? Let's just kind of run through it real quick. Do you
Yeah,
have that?
yeah. Yes, hold on for a minute now.
IM it to me. I'll just pretend like we're doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So Tilini, you can say.
Yes, after the clubs, I can say, could you
Yeah, I mean, there are two questions, right? One is training, and the next one is, I understand we started a healthy eating and exercise initiative
Yes,
company, as a pilot program, and we are thinking of rolling it out across the company. Can you
right.
tell Manoshi? Can you tell me a bit more about it, right? Where it is, what's going on?
Yes, I can tell that. Yes.
That's one question, and then the
And
other question
one
is,
question, and then about the training.
yeah, one of our values is, learning and growing, and I understand there's a new training center. Can you talk about it? And ask me the question. I will start it and I'll pass it on to Manoshi.
Okay.
I mean, you will have to log in because
Yeah.
otherwise they won't be able to see the dashboard. So I just sent you my login details and the link on Yahoo.
Okay, and give me the other link, where they can find out what course they need to
What
take.
courses? Okay, yeah.
So I'll keep it logged in. So if you don't mind, I'll make a note of this. Okay.
Send a mail also, Naren, with these details.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And so,
The
Tilini, why
second
don't you
link,
ask me
Naren,
what-
you have to go there and click on the second option.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tilini, why don't you
You have
ask
to
me?
click on the second option, Naren. Okay.
What's the second option? Oh, my
You
courses.
have to, in the second link I sent you. No, I meant in the second link I sent you about what trainings they have to follow.
All right. Right.
I sent you another link, yeah. Just
Okay,
choose
got it.
the career path. Okay.
Yeah. So Tilini, why don't you start the question on the training?
Yes, I know there is a pilot program, and that is it's exercising and healthy eating. Would you like to speak a few words about that, Naren, and also if you can? No, I will first tell this, then you explain that, and then we'll talk about the
Got it.
training, isn't it?
Fine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's an excellent thing. See, we try to look at what are the downsides sometimes of working from home. And one of the downsides is because you don't have to get out of the house, some people never get out of the house. Some people never stay active. And to be honest, I am one of those people, right? So I know from personal experience, um, you have to make it a point to be active, right? Nobody, again, the same thing with work at home. Nobody's there to tell you what to do on a day by day basis and look over your shoulders. Nobody's tell you that to eat healthy and exercise. So one of the clubs I think Manoshi came up with, and I really need to thank her for this because it has personally helped me as well, is the idea of healthy eating and exercise. So there are two clubs, and I think she ran it as a pilot program, and I was part of it. And I'm proud to say I've lost 10 pounds, and it's not a lot, but I have to go a lot more, but it's at least a start. And really, what we learned about this, because for example, I have struggled with weight and health for a long time, and when you are between 25 and 40, if you kind of ignore your health, you will have consequences over the long term. And unfortunately, our bodies when we are young, when we are teenagers, is very different from the bodies we have when we are 20, more than 23, 24. So we still think we are teenagers and we eat the way we do, but we don't exercise and we're not active. When you're a kid, you're running around and always active, right? But so the food and everything else continues, but our lifestyle changes, right? So it's really important to start watching what we eat, because what you put in is what makes your health right into your stomach. So carbohydrates, and so there are different plans around how to eat and so forth. I don't want to get into that, but we want to encourage people to eat healthy. We want them to, either belong to the exercise club or the, activities club, so that they are conscious of it, right? Because when you are part of a group and you're committed to each other, you tend to pay attention to things, because there's somebody to check on you and say, hey, how did you do on healthy eating today, or how did you do on, exercising today? And the more you have to answer to somebody, the more you pay attention. So I do think there's been some success, at least personally. I know a bit about this. So Manoshi, why don't you expand on what's going on with these clubs? What have you done so far, and what you're planning to do?
Yes, actually, Narayan, my story is also somewhat similar to yours, right? I've been battling similar issues recently, right? So one of the reasons when you also came up with, I talked to a lot of people in the company. I talked to a lot of people in the company, and some people told me that they were working from home and now they've gotten into bad habits, and which is affecting their health, right? So one day I spoke to Naren about it, and then we decided, yes, we should, as a company, do something about it, because we want the company not only to be full of our colleagues, but only a healthy family, right? So based on that, we came up with these two options. The first option we started was actually the exercise option, and then we had the healthy eating option. And in the exercise option, what we do is we have formed teams where we all do our own individual workouts and whatnot, and we post it on a tracker, sort of like a daily diary, which we fill in. So we were hoping that when we have to answer to other people, or compete in a team, and maybe have a support group, that we will work on it better, that we will be more motivated to do all these exercises and stuff, which would make us healthy. So that was one reason we started the exercise club. But then we also realized that there's a group of people who doesn't like to exert themselves much, so they can opt for the healthy eating option, where they watch what they eat. We are not dietitians, but they can follow all these programs which are there online, because in Equa we don't say, okay, this is how you eat healthy, but as persons, we need to take responsibility of that. So we have teams in both the clubs, and we are planning on hosting an event, hopefully soon, maybe end of the year, where we are going to get it into teams, and we are going to do an initial weigh-in, and we will see, sort of like a biggest loser competition, where we will see the team who has lost the most amount of weight, and certain other metrics as well, and the best team will win a prize. This is just a start to motivate people to join this, and be conscious of their health. Hopefully next year we can host a big event where we can have like a sports meet, or maybe something along those lines, where people can really take part. So this is one of the ideas actually which we came up with, and I'm hoping which would benefit all of you all. So if you all are interested, please contact the HR team, right? Because we have Facebook groups for this as well. So you could contact me or Salika, and we will sign you up for this.
Yeah, I personally think this is really, really important, because health is one of those things. It's very hard to get it back. It's better not to lose it, but once you lose it, it's really, really hard to get it back. So get on it, whether regardless of where you are in the continuum, and pay attention and have some fun with. You're not the only one struggling, right? We all are. So it's not like, oh, I'm better than you or you're better than me. Just we need to be better tomorrow than we were yesterday. So let's just have some fun, get into it, and make our lives healthier. Because if we are healthy, it's good for our families, it's good for our kids, it's good for us, it's good for the society, it's good for everybody. So let's take health seriously, and hopefully you can even rub it off on your families. So hopefully your kids will start learning good habits too. Like one of the things we try to pay attention with our kids is teaching them about what is healthy and what's not healthy, and not eating late at night, some basic habits that that's good for a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, yes, and I think I should join that as well. because I need some very good healthy eating habits. Okay, so moving on, I think, Naren, if you can explain a little further on the training that we have. We have some company training, and if you could just explain to us.
Yes, if you are in the Equa operations team, you probably have seen this page. It has all the processes and standards we have as a company. And the second link on that is called Equa Marketing Internal Employee Training Career Path for Employee Transfer. So if you look at this page, you will see the different teams we have. You will see the different roles we have. And for each role, it'll tell you what are the courses you should have taken. So if you haven't already taken these courses and you're currently in these roles, please sign up and take these courses, because we want all of our people to be best trained and most knowledgeable, right? So make sure that you're looking at this and taking the courses you're supposed to take. Now, if you are not in a certain team but you want to join that team, even then you should try to take these courses, because at the end of the course there is a small test that will tell the HR team how well you are doing. So when they put you on the wait list, they know, yes, you are capable of doing this job. So I strongly recommend you go through the training. And there is a URL called staff-training.equaservice.com. You can create your account. I'm logged into an account here, and you can see the different classes and take it and complete the assignments and do all kinds of fun stuff. So I think this is really, really good. We have gotten a lot of positive feedback about this initiative. So just like health is important to the business and our people, I think knowledge is important to us, and it goes back to one of our key values, constantly learning. So make an attempt to learn, make an attempt to grow, because it's good for you, it's good for your career, and obviously it's good for the company as well. And also it'll keep you current, right? As you know, the world changes, especially in the internet space. You don't want to be somebody who knew how to work with the internet 5 years ago and not today. So constantly, it's a good idea to keep yourself updated with new skills and new lessons and new learnings. Anything else you want to add, Manoshi, before we wrap up?
One more thing, Naren. So basically, if somebody wants a lateral move, then obviously they need to complete these trainings, right? Or even advancement in training is really important. If they're having any issues with signing in, or any extra information about the courses, they can always contact the HR team. But I just want to reiterate that just because you pass the course, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be given a lateral move immediately. We will put you in a wait list, right? And then we will consider you when there's a vacancy.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Yeah, so you can add that, and then we'll go to Q&A, and then we'll wrap up, right?
Yeah, Naren, I can't. Are you having anything on your screen? Because I can't see your screen.
Because we didn't see the screen, yeah.
Oh,
the last two, I mean the training, yeah. The last two, because it's just a black.
Black screen.
Black I'm sorry.
window.
I opened it in the wrong window. My fault.
Okay.
Let me just go to the right window. Let me see if you can see it, because oh yeah, I had accidentally closed it. Yeah, I don't worry. I'll fix it. I'll fix it before the meeting. So it's my fault. I just opened it in the wrong window.
Okay. So after the Q&A, after the questions are answered, then I will ask you and Manoshi, Naren, whether you all have any final thoughts, and then finish off from there.
Perfect.
Okay. So
any feedback? Anything we should do
different? One thing I just want to tell you is now we started at about 5:30 or 5:40, let's say. Now we're finishing at 7 o'clock. Do you think it's too long? Or what do you? I mean, I don't know. Like for me,
I think it took us one.
I think we did cover. 1 hour and 10 minutes is actually pretty much all right, I think, because we have to cover all this anyway, right, Naren?
Yeah.
Is it 1 hour and 10 minutes? I thought we took 1.5 hours.
When I looked at my clock, when we really started, meaning when we, literally kicked off, it was 8:22. Yeah. Okay. And then now it's 9:32.
Oh, okay, fine.
So
okay, so that's okay. 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
I think we are pretty much. Yeah.
I think we are fine, right? And you know, with some right now we also had some
Yeah.
commentary and back and forth. So hopefully once you cut to the commentary where we are talking to each other,
Yes.
hopefully it will become 1 hour and 5 or 1 hour, something like that. So I think we are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And
Okay.
what do you
So
think,
what?
Naren? I mean, I thought it went pretty
Yeah, I think so. Should we record it and give it to new staff, or I don't know, just a question. Or I think it's too much.
well. Sorry, Naren, record it and?
Give it to new staff or new orientation.
On the first, we will be recording it anyway, and if there are people who can't join in for some reason or the other, we will anyway broadcast this as well so they can, check it
Okay.
out. But for new staff, maybe
Maybe
after
we
they get
can
confirmed or something.
cut pieces from it and use it if it makes sense, right? If it doesn't make sense, let's not use it. But if it does make sense, we could take pieces, like for example, the value piece and so forth, right? So
Yeah, because
Exactly.
I think a new staff probably wouldn't need to know all this information in the
right.
first day itself, but maybe when they're getting confirmed,
Okay.
we'll see how it goes, Naren. But I think it's a good idea and it went really well.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, Manoshi. Tell me, how is that training with Ryan going? Let me know when you feel you are ready, right, for that other role we talked about.
Yes. Yes. It's
Okay.
okay. I'm doing it.
Okay. So hopefully by the end of this week, you think, or you think it'll take more time?
Uh, just give me till next week, Naren, because I have some EOS coming. Next week is also quite busy with these EOS that are coming.
Okay.
So probably by end of next week. Let me see what else
Sounds good.
Naren has.
And
Yeah.
also,
So
you need to talk to Susan about the research you are supposed to do before a meeting, right? So, for example, you need to see if the client, we have somebody close by, and you can ask Ryan how to find that out. You have to do some basic research to figure out what keywords they're ranking for and how well their mobile site looks. There's a link that we use called Reposinator or something, right?
okay.
So talk to, and so because that will be part of your role to kind of do the research up front. And then obviously if we have somebody else a mile from them, we won't be able to take on a new client. So say telling them, sorry, we can't help you, things like that.
Right.
Updating the tracker, all of that stuff.
Okay. So you want me to ask this from Ryan or from Susan?
Ask Susan about what research you want me to do before a meeting,
Okay.
and then say if you don't know how to do it, I can ask Ryan how to do it. But at least tell me what kind of research you want me to do
Okay.
before the meeting. And then anything else like templates, emails to use, and things like that. So you really start learning the whole process and what works and what not, right? So
Okay.
I mean, and maybe we can have a meeting. So maybe set up a meeting between Ryan, Susan, and me. Um, like closer to the end, so we can kind of make sure that everything is ready.
Okay. Okay. We'll do
I
that.
mean, take your time, but the sooner the better, right? So I mean,
Yes.
I don't want you to kind of not be prepared because I don't want you to.
Yes. I know.
Okay,
I understand.
right. That's it. Anything else?
No, nothing else. Nothing else. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Then,
Thanks. Thanks, Naren. Okay. Bye bye.
bye. Thanks, Manoshi. Bye.